Hey, welcome to The Explainer. So, today we're going to peel back the layers on something you think you know about screen readers. And trust me, it's way more than just a computer voice reading text. It's a whole different way of interacting with the digital world. Let's get into it.
But before we get into the tech, just think about this for a second. How do you click on a button you can't see? How do you fill out a form or find a menu on a website if the screen is just, well, blank to you? It's a real, everyday challenge for millions of people.
And to solve that puzzle, you have to understand what these tools are really for. Yeah, they read stuff out loud, but that's not the main event. It's all about giving someone the power to actually use a digital space. Okay, so here's the official textbook definition. A screen reader is a type of assistive tech that takes everything on the screen, text, images, you name it, and turns it into speech or braille. Simple enough, right? But who actually uses them? Well, you might think it's only for people who are blind, but the list is way bigger. It's a critical tool for people with all kinds of visual impairments, sure, but also for people with learning disabilities like dyslexia, or even folks who are just learning to read. The audience is much broader than most people realize. All right, so we know what it is and who it's for, but that brings us right back to the big question, doesn't it? How in the world does this tech handle the chaotic, visual, click-everything nature of a modern app or website? Because that's really the heart of the problem, you know? A screen isn't just a page of a book. It's got images, it's got charts, it's got buttons and forms all over the place. If a screen reader just read all the text from top to bottom, it would be a jumbled, confusing mess, totally useless for actually doing anything. And the solution? Well, it's absolutely brilliant. It's not one magic wand. It's more like a master craftsperson opening up a toolbox full of specialized gear. So the answer isn't one cursor. Seriously, you have to throw out that idea of a cursor just being that little blinking line or the arrow you move with your mouse. For a screen reader user, it's a whole digital toolkit, a different tool for every single job. And check this out. This is the toolkit we're talking about. It's amazing. You've got all these different cursors. For example, you might use the virtual cursor to just read through an article, kind of like how you'd skim a page with your eyes. But the second you need to type in a search box, bam, you're using the system cursor, which is locked onto that text field. Or maybe you hit some weird custom-made slider on a website. No problem, you might switch to the object cursor to deal with just that one thing. It's this incredible dance between all these different specialized tools, but, having all the right tools is one thing. Knowing when to use them is another. And this is where screen readers get even smarter, because they operate in two totally different modes. The best way to think about it is like shifting gears. You've got browse mode, which is for reading. That's your cruising gear. You use that virtual cursor to jump between headings, read paragraphs, just consume the information. But then you pull up to a login form. You got to shift into focus mode. This is for interacting. Now your keyboard isn't jumping around the page. It's typing your username and password directly into those fields. One mode for taking information in, another for putting information out. And the really cool part? The screen reader is usually smart enough to switch gears for you. You land on a form field, boom, it puts you in focus mode automatically. But the user is always in the driver's seat. They can switch back and forth manually whenever they need to. Okay, so we've looked at this amazing toolkit, these intelligent modes. It's all fascinating stuff. But why does this actually matter to the rest of us, especially if you're someone who builds websites or creates digital content? What's the big takeaway? Well, it all boils down to this single crucial point. All those powerful cursors, all those smart modes, they are completely useless if the digital world isn't built to be understood by them. That virtual cursor can't describe a photo if there's no alt text. That's the little hidden description of an image in the code. It can't make sense of a chart if the data isn't labeled. Basically, the tools are amazing, but they need a map to follow. So let's wrap our heads around the big takeaways here. First, a screen reader is not just a voice. It's a super sophisticated navigation toolkit. Second, users are constantly and actively piloting their way through the web, switching between all these different cursors and modes. And what that means for creators is that our digital content has to be built so these tools can navigate it. Things like alt text for images, they aren't optional extras. They are absolutely essential. They're the street signs of the digital world. And that really leaves us with one final question to chew on. Now that you've had a peek inside this incredible toolkit, is the web that you're building actually designed to be used by them? Is your little corner of the internet truly open for everyone? Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.